Hello. Hello. How's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? How are we feeling? Now that we got one of the here we goes finally. Jorrel, Hato, all done and dusted last night, which is lovely to see. Really excited about this one. Really excited about this signing. Want to hear your guys' thoughts about the signing today. Answer a few questions about Hato. Probably speak a little bit more about that tactical edge that he has. So yeah, let's see who's in the chat. Let's also run the likes up as quick as possible so we can get everybody in and on board with the stream today. So yeah, type in the chat. Let's see who's here. Let's say hello to a few people. So HP saying Chelsea FC is hot. I put a tweet out yesterday about our sort of squad depth now with Hato, Simmons, and unfortunately for some, as they don't want him, but Garnacho I did involve in that tweet because I do think it's a good possibility that it happens. So yeah, but the depth looks crazy. The depth really does look crazy to me. Where are we at? I think Simmons is done being delayed so he could finish Leipzig training camp. Now they can run the double Dutch gimmick. Let's hope so. Let's hope we get some news on him soon. By the way, missed yesterday. There was no content on the channel. We had been doing daily content. We were trying to get back to daily content on the channel. Yesterday there was none because literally the day before I was so tired. Yesterday I was running on about 3 hours sleep. I then had to do analysis work all day. So I didn't stop doing the analysis work pretty much till 9-10 o'clock. And I could have done a stream in the evening, but I needed some sleep. I needed to catch up. It was one of those sleeps. I don't know, like you guys will probably sort of know what I'm talking about here. But when you've barely slept for like a few nights before or something, or you're like running on really low amounts of sleep, and then that one night of sleep where you just sleep all the way through, don't wake up once, and you have like a 10-hour sleep, and you wake up and you just feel like you're on another planet. So I had one of them last night. So I feel refreshed and ready to go again. And again, we've got a video coming out today on the goalkeeper situation, which I would really appreciate all your support on, because I've finally decided I'm going to try to do a little bit more editing on the video. It won't be much because I want to experiment to begin with, but I'm going to try and put a bit of editing into the videos now, which is not my forte. So any sort of advice and sort of opinions on the video and all support, as always, will be brilliant. What else we got? Simmons next. Let's keep the momentum up. Finally, we can give Kukurea a rest. That's one of the biggest parts of this signing. CB, all good karma. Big up to Reese. Big up to Daniel Knight. 28 more people in the chat now. So drop a like and also let me know who's here, just so we can have a little chat. Say hello to a few people this morning, and then we'll speak a little bit more about how Jorrel Hato is going to sort of impact Chelsea, because I really do think that there's so much more to his signing that people aren't talking about. I mean, a lot of people are sort of mentioning it, but the tactical flexibility is such a big thing. And the fact that he is so able as an athlete, but also technically on the ball, makes him able to occupy all of the zones that we need him to occupy. Because as I keep trying to say on this left-hand side, if you was to split it, you're essentially looking at wanting your left back or your right back on the other side to be able to occupy in all four of these zones. What's up, Adeyemi? How you doing? Chelsea needs a new number one goalkeeper. Again, I've got a video coming out on that today, so I will refrain from goalkeeper chat because the video covers it in detail. But yeah, you want a player that can sort of go across these four zones. And Kukurea has been exactly that for Chelsea over the last few seasons, and he will continue to be that because he's such an important part of this system. And the reason that I think Kukurea is so adored is because he can do every single role and he can platform. He makes other people around him better. Now, Jorrel Hato can do the exact same thing in the sense of he can occupy all of these zones to various levels. But he's got even more in terms of added athleticism. So one thing that I think not a lot of people are speaking about is his ability to be a runner off the ball, even though you may not see him as one based on where he's been playing as a left centre-back, which I do think is his better position. I do think he's better when maybe he's the one tucking in as that left centre-back and he can make those later runs to arrive in space, so he doesn't have to sort of be pinned out there all the time. He's better at arriving in space rather than, being the one to be pinned out there. And this is exactly what CB. The only worry is that Kukure and Hato won't be the best at holding width, which it depends how you see it. Because, like I say, if Simmons is starting on the left, and I tried to sort of say this last season, what I don't think it will be, and same with when we do it with Palmer, I don't think it will always be that Hato just takes up this position. One thing that Hato is good at anyway is he's quite a clever player. So he knows that if it's his role to pin the fullback back here, he will do that effectively because he knows that he's doing it not for the benefit of himself, but he's doing it for the benefit of the team and the shape and the structure. So that is something he can do in terms of that. What he's really good at is arriving into those spaces. So if he's starting in these deeper triangle motions that we're talking about, let's say Cole's a bit more fixed, and let's say that these three are in a bit more of a rotational triangle, what you then allow is these three players to move up the pitch together and then exploit this space with a long pass, or combine and have, say, Simmons drift, Hato attack the space inside, Simmons drift over, Enzo attack the space, and Hato sort of cover. Again, that would lack you with width, but again, it's different sort of dynamics in attack, and having these options to have two players that attack from depth, but also Hato, who has the athleticism recovery pace to recover and support that. So I think that the dynamics he gives you tactically is just so key. And something else that people like when it comes to the holding of the width is Simmons can hold the width earlier in the move. So if Hato's slowly moving up to here, let's say that it's sort of moving up a little bit sort of asymmetrical. You've got James a little bit deeper, ready to be part of the back four, the back three in possession. You've got Hato creeping forward, but you've got Enzo and Casado in a bit more of a fixed pivot in there. Simmons can sort of drift to pin this player to begin with, and then it's that movement and that combination between him and Hato that will work really well, because as he then drags inside, Hato can attack from depth rather than attacking and sort of having to hold and pin that width. Simmons can do both of those jobs effectively without having to have the burst and sort of guile to beat this man 1v1 on a consistent basis that we'd expect from a Gittins or a Madueke on the other side when we had him, and those typical 1v1 wingers. So that's sort of why I think Hato is so important for this team. And as Daniel Knight says here as well, Hato will learn from Kukure, and I think that's a huge part of his game, will be sort of just adding that, because I think that Kukure went through a very similar learning curve to Hato in the sense of channeling the aggression, and you still see it. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's channeled now really, but it's slightly more channeled to the point where Kukure uses it more to his own strengths rather than having it really exploit him at all times. So like Kukure will go bundling in. Now, if you haven't watched the Hato video that I did on the channel, I would suggest going and watching it, because that sort of speaks about the advantages, disadvantages, and all of that stuff. Hato can overlap. He's more than capable. Like I say, he's better at arriving in space, but he can arrive into that space. He can arrive into central space. He absolutely has the capacity to overlap. So I don't agree with that. Not that I think that's his best role. Like I say, I think his best is when he's here and he can make late runs into that, because he's got so much speed and so much athleticism that it sort of can work in that sense. The other thing I wanted to touch on with Hato is very similar to the sort of factor of bringing in Gittins. Now, of course, I'm not saying they sort of go hand in hand, but I do think that what you get with having at least one of them in the team, I think the idea is that you have an outlet runner on this side of the pitch and somebody who's more powerful and gives you that athleticism at arriving in the space. Now, you'll notice that I keep using the word arriving in space. And I think it's that ability to cover ground really quickly and be an outlet for you. So, and will Hato provide more of a runner profile to allow Simmons inside? Yes, 100%. He will. Does that mean he won't invert into those number 10 positions? I don't know. I still think there'll be a little bit of fluidity between the two. I still think my reservations are more so about when Hato inverts into this area, because he is so one-footed. That's my sort of main worry. I know for a fact he can do it and he can operate in these areas, but in terms of like stunting your progression, I think that's the sort of area that I like the least for him. A little bit like Nuno Mendes, and he's sort of received these comparisons before. Nuno Mendes, for me, operates best in the left centre-back role, and then in the left number 10 role, and then in the sort of wide role. Those three roles are where he operates best, and that's mainly due to his athleticism and technical ability. So I would very much sort of compare him to Nuno Mendes in that way of how he can operate. So what we're saying about Hato and Gittins is what they both offer that outlet athleticism on the left side, and you can also have one of them in the team mostly at all times, because if you're going to start Simmons in the 10, Palmer on the right, you're going to overlap with the right back, which means you can probably start with either of Hato or Cucurella at the left centre back role, and you can start with Gittins on this left wing, and Simmons would be in the 10. But if you do it the other way around, where Simmons plays on the left, that would mean Gittins isn't playing unless he's on the right, which would then allow maybe for Hato to play. Again, I'm not saying that it won't be Cucurella on quite a lot of occasions, because he's so important to the team that he probably will play a lot there with Simmons. But as well with Hato, the quicker that he becomes adjusted to it, these two have a really good dynamic, because now you've got Simmons, who wants the ball a little bit more to feet. You've got Enzo, who can create a little bit more deeper. Hato gives you more of a runner profile on that side of the pitch in terms of that athleticism and that ability to arrive in space. So that is something that I think we would need with Hato on that side, but also with Neto on this side, to give you that sort of good enough dynamic where having Enzo, Simmons and Palmer creating for them would make a lot of sense. And then you can have Pedro, who can go both ways. So that's where I'm at in terms of Hato. I will answer as many questions as possible. This is mainly just a stream to sort of talk about him, but if you guys want to ask other questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But I wanted to do a stream before the video that comes out today, purely because we didn't do one yesterday. So that's like the main things I wanted to touch on with Hato. But yeah, let's get some questions going and let's sort of go from there. We've also got 20 likes, but we've got 40 in the building. So can we whack that up to 40 likes as quick as possible, please? Really, really helps me out. And yeah, it would do me a huge favor. So run those likes up, please, please, please. David, hey, I hope I didn't miss much. No, we've only been going for about 10 minutes. You're all good, or 15. Will Hato provide more? Oh, yeah, we did that one. I feel like Hato's better at making central runs to progress play rather than sitting infield and holding possession, as you said. He's quite one-footed. Yeah, I agree. I think he's better. Like I say, my favourite area for Hato is, like Nuno Mendes does, when the right back is more progressed. So that would be with Cole. That would be like this, for example. Let's do Chalobah. Where the right back is the more advanced, even if it is just asymmetric. Or how should we do this? I'm trying to think what works best. Let's do it like this. Let's just do that for now. If it's somewhat like this, and Hato in this position is where I prefer him, that's my favourite area for him, because I think he's so versatile that it allows for good rotations when he does burst forward. He can burst forward, and he can allow Enzo to drop into the sort of wide spots to receive the ball. So he can attack from here, and he can go into these short of areas. He can go into the central pockets, and he can attack the space, or he can combine and sort of make things happen on the outside of the block as well. He's another one of those players for me that gives you problem solving on both the inside and the outside of a block. The reason they're in yellow, I mean, I can change Hato now to blue, but what I usually do for them being in yellow is that they're linked. So I usually just do that because they're not technically part of the squad yet. But like I say, with Hato now, you actually can put him to blue. So good shout, yeah. But Simmons, it's not happened yet, so we're going to keep him in yellow. Do you think we will see a Cucurella, Hato, Cole, James backline at any point? I've said this before, right? And I will say this. Yeah, David, like you said, new signings or like linked. Right, let's touch on this, because a lot of people are saying like Hato is more of a left back, and I do agree. I think he's better at left back. I think it hides more of his deficiencies. However, I love some of the centre back work that he does when he's able to be the aggressor, jump out, and really be aggressive on sort of attacking players that are dropping into those pockets. So I do think that there is opportunity and scope to have a backline of, as somebody has just said here, let's put it together with Reece here, right? Now, the reason for that is against teams that are, say, let's say that we're setting up like this. If we're playing against a low block, they play a back five, and we're really trying to squeeze them in their own half, which is something that I think we got very good at last season against the back fives, but then we then struggled to break down the low block. But what Hato does is he's so aggressive and he's so good at sort of stopping defenders and being proactive when he jumps out of the press that it would allow you to have a lot of sort of interchangeability with this, and it would allow Enzo to it would allow you to still have this sort of shape, but if anything, you'd probably go. It would probably be Enzo on this side, and you would probably get a little bit more. Let's just say this is Gusto, just because of the running sort of power that's going to be needed to sort of trap teams in. You'd probably see. See, that's the only issue, actually, now I just thought about it. It would probably have to be without Gittins, because you want Palmer in that middle sector. So you want him starting in the 10, Simmons there. So you want Kukurea holding width, Hato there, Cobble there, Reese there, and then you'd have Neto on the right. So that's probably the team you'd see. So in this sense, you've got, and then against a low block, maybe it's the lap into the João Pedro. Sorry, it's a lot of faffing because there wasn't as much here. But with this lineup, Hato is technically your left centre-back. But on the ball, you still get your three here. You get to set up in a 3-1-6, where this is sort of your core unit, this back four, to build up play. You've then got three players between the lines who are all effective and can all drop into here to create the +1, or they can attack the last line. All three of them can do that effectively, which is really nice to have in the three pockets, or the two pocket, like across the middle section. And this allows Hato to still be that aggressive centre-back in the same way that Reese can, as they jump up to pressure that space, and you have a sweeper either side of Colwill, and then you have Casado, who, again, he can cover those spaces for you. So I do think against back fives and against teams that we're really trying to pin in, Jorrel Hato could be of big use in that left centre-back position. That's not to say that I think he's a centre-back, like that he's going to be a centre-back for Chelsea. I do think the primary use of him will be as a Kukurea backup and in the Kukurea role. But I definitely think there's minutes for him there as that left centre-back in this sort of system when we're trying to break teams down. I think that this dynamic could work really, really well, having these two attack the last line, having the lap, again, to be that box presence. And then, as I said earlier, let's just put it in a different colour because I want it to sort of stand out, having players that can go both ways in the pocket. So I think that this system works really, really well. And that's something I really want to see at some point next season, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. Just joined. Did you miss much? Not really, Kaz. No, we've been going for about 15 minutes. I guess you missed like the tactical element of what we're talking about with Hato, so you could go back and watch that when it ends. But yeah, now let's get into the Q&A bit. Like, drop me some questions. I'm doing well today, thank you, Michael. How are you? My eye's a bit irritated. I don't know if it's hay fever or not. So if I keep rubbing my eye, that's why. A little bit irritated today. Would he be good off the ball as a centre-back? Again, in this scenario, yes. In a team against a team that's going to challenge us more and have a little bit more on the break and maybe not allow Chelsea to have 60 to 70% possession, but it's going to be a bit more 55-45 or closer, and teams are going to try and have little like sustained periods in our half, then I would be less confident having him as that left centre-back because his aggression could leave a little bit of space around Colwill to be exploited. And it could also allow sort of, again, with Kukurea and Hato, two similar players that like to jump out of the press, having them on the same side. If you're not ready for it, like in a game like that I've sort of set up here, then it can sort of cause problems for Chelsea in terms of how they defend that space around Colwill. Absolutely, yeah. Literally like this, Kaz, because like all of these players, they're capable of dropping in and like pushing on and attacking the box. One question out of context, I know. What will happen to Kenda and Pires who'll be ready by next season if we sign Simmons and Garnacho? Honestly, I don't know. Kenda, I think, is a bit easier because I think he's going to be on the right. So I think what would happen is I think if anyone was to lose their spot, it would be like Neto becomes really, really sort of out of favour. And it all depends who's like available, like what happens next season in terms of value, doesn't it? Because we could get to the point next season and they could see that Neto is like he's got a bit of resale value. Maybe they sell him on. Maybe they don't for next season. They try to sort of bring Kenda in a bit slower, a bit like I think they're going to do with Esteval this year, and really try to slowly do it. So Kenda, I'm less worried about. Paez, I'm slightly worried about. Where's that comment gone? I just lost it. Here. Paez, I'm slightly worried about because the two main roles I would have had for Paez are the Simmons role and the Enzo role. So whether that's sort of like basically is that left-sided number 8 either way, but whether he starts as the 10 or the sort of left side of a midfield 3 as the like left side number 8, they're the zones that I prefer Paez in. I think he's much better in those central zones and being one of these pocket players. I definitely think there's space for him because you are getting rid of Nkunku and Felix as well. So he would just be another version of Simmons and he would be behind Simmons. But let's see what he does because I am so excited about Strasbourg this season with Paez and the loan that he's going to have there. I think it's going to be so good. I think they're going to be so exciting to watch this year. If he blows people out the water and then he comes in, he's another player that I think if you get complete buy-in from him, a bit like how I've described Simmons, he's got that bite and that intensity off the ball as well that is so important for though. If you can have number 10s like Simmons, who you know aren't going to sort of like give up if they lose the ball, they're high risk takers, but then they're counter pressers as well. I think having someone like that, and I think Paez falls into that mold. If you can get full buy-in from him, I think that they're very valuable players to have. So I'm not too worried yet, but let's sort of see what happens this season. I'm just glad that because they're both lefties, if you are going to sign Garnacho and Simmons, at least they're right footers, not left footers, because that was my bigger, like when we was linked with Kudus, that was my bigger sort of worry. Has Hato scored many headers? Yeah, he scored a few. He's definitely scored a few, and I think he has that same ability to do so. And as I sort of pointed out we saw Cuckoo arriving at the far post a lot last season, I put this out during the season. The reason I think Cuckoo is so good at doing this is nothing to do with, well, one, he's got the mind for it. He's very sort of switched on and smart. But two, it's that intensity. It's that never give up attitude that Cuckoo has. When other players sort of switch off and where most other attackers would sort of see a ball and see like the pass isn't good enough, so they wouldn't even go for it. Cucurella is he'll never let a ball just go unchased. He will chase it, even if he doesn't get anywhere near it, he will go for it. So I think that sort of intensity and that never give up attitude of Cucurella is actually what allows him to score those far post goals. And I think Hato has that same sort of desire. So that's another big factor when we're talking about that. What are your expectations for the season? Mine are improving in the league, whether that's in points or position, and reaching at least the CL round of 16, hopefully going on a good cup run. That's what I want. I want a solid top 4 finish where we improve on our points tally. We do it with much more comfort. We're not sort of pinned at the end where we have to win on the last day. That's like a big progression for me. Don't get to that position. A cup run, I absolutely am like, I'm begging for a cup run. I really, really, really want to go deep in like the FA Cup, for example. Some people don't care for it. I'm a massive lover of like the FA Cup. I love it. So if we could get a big run in the FA Cup, I'd love that personally. I think it'd be very good to sort of try and break that Wembley curse as well, whether it's Carabao or FA. And then, yeah, Champions League, can we get into the knockouts, essentially? And I think that those sort of competitions may suit us better anyway, in terms of turning up like we did in the Club World Cup. Again, in the goalkeeper video that we speak about, that I upload later today, we speak a little bit about like sort of cup versus league and how that can affect. Question to all, would you have preferred Hato or Calafiori? Everybody in the chat, answer this for Kaz. Question to all, would you have preferred Hato or Calafiori? I'm going to quickly refresh, see how many likes we've got currently. We're on 32, but we've got 58 in the building. I'm going to refresh that in 1 minute before we carry on with the questions. I'm going through every single question. We're talking to every single person in the chat. So the one thing, all I ask of you, please drop a like because it really, really helps me out. More than you guys know. More than you guys know. Also, just to put it out there, I don't know how many of you guys use playback, but I'm going to start up my playback again today as well. Because we have like a Chelsea Tactics Talk channel over on playback. We are going to use that so that I can then bring people up to stage. So we're going to do my first sort of playback stream again at some point after this stream. So if I link you the room, if I can do that somehow. Why can't I find a way to link the room? I'll have a look in a minute. We'll try and link that room over. So yeah, we've got 61 in the building. Let's have a quick refresh, see what likes we're on. Then I will carry on answering your questions. We're on 40. Can we get that? We need 10 more for 50. That's easy. Very, very easy. Get that to 50. Do we have players that make good off-the-ball runs like Sterling? Is there scope for improvement? Garnacho does offer that. So like I said in my Garnacho video, that's one reason I think that they actually do want him. Other players that are good making off-ball runs, I think Gittins needs to work on it, but he has the sort of the intensity and the build and sort of the eye for goal that you need. So I think there's scope for him to improve in that area. Jackson, I think, is brilliant with making those off-ball runs in behind. Delap's brilliant, but in a different way. His runs are more intelligent for a striker and actually box movement. Jackson's a bit more in behind. So yeah, there's a few players, and then again, I think someone like Enzo is actually really good at making sort of those off-ball runs to arrive in the correct spaces. Biggest gripe with Cuckoo is that he doesn't carry the ball forwards when there's space in front of him. Hato does offer exactly this, especially from this zone here. I speak about it a lot. Against man-to-man pressure, you need these two players need to be able to carry the ball because it can break a man-to-man press. If you're being pressed all across the board, all it takes is this player or this player to beat their man, which is likely going to be a winger who is less defensively inclined. As soon as they get past, let's say Hato gets past, they've taken a man out of the game. So now Simmons' man, let's say there's a man on Simmons here, he has to probably jump off of Simmons to apply pressure on Hato. And that leaves Simmons open. Or he stays with Simmons, who drags him away, and Hato has lots of space to carry into. So the second that you can beat a man in these wide centre-back areas in a man-to-man press, you are opening up the entire pitch. Another reason why you're against Garnacho. Not sure what that was towards. Was that towards Kenda and sort of those people? Paez, I think, might have 2 seasons at Strasbourg, as I think we could get rid of Hall next summer. And he might take that backup position. I think Drewsbury Hall could go this summer, to be fair. Rather have him have the game time to develop. Yeah, I think this season I wanted him to go to Strasbourg badly. Let's assess it at the end of the season to see if he needs another. But I'm very excited for this season for him to have that loan at Strasbourg. Mab's saying the exact same thing. So yeah, that's fair. I do think that's possible for sure. Need a Wembley winner, but exactly, yeah. But it's a very different group, so that would be very nice as well to just. We're getting to where that question was asked about Hato or Calafiori. We'll get to that in a sec. Liverpool and Arsenal will compete for the title. I think we'll be third. I think City will be there too, Warrior. I think it's going to be tight between that top 4. All of the teams have changed quite significantly. There's been some big transfers. How would a team with 11 changes from the PL look, say a League Cup match? Should we have a quick look? We'll get rid of loads of arrows. So let's say a complete... I don't think we'd ever really do that's the thing. With changes, I don't think it's ever going to be like people last year saw it as A team and B team. I don't think it's going to be that way this year. But if we was to sort of just say like a whole switch up, it would probably be Jorgensen here, Hato instead of Kukurea, Badia Shield instead of Colwell. It depends at the time. It depends who's starting. I'm going to say toss in here. I don't know though, because it's hard with the right centre back because it depends who's starting at centre back. Let's just put Chalobah there for now. Let's put Gusto wherever he is here. That would probably be. I mean, they think it's going to be a Sugo, don't they? But I'm just going to for now, just so that we can work it out. I'm going to put Lavia and Andre as the 2 because that's your Casado and your Enzo. Then on the left, again, it depends who's starting more. I think Simmons starts a bit more this season, so maybe Gittins. Probably Delap up front, Delap or Jackson. The 10, this is what's awkward because maybe it'd be Esteban on the 10. Because again, it all depends who's starting at the time. Because if Simmons isn't starting in the 10, then maybe he plays a game in the 10. there's a lot of different ways you could do it. So should we do it like this? I think maybe something like this. But then actually, that's a good point. Maybe Garnacho would be involved as well. But something like this, maybe. But if Simmons hasn't been playing, then maybe Simmons plays here. Maybe Esteval plays here. So there's lots of different, and then maybe Gittins has been playing, so then maybe that's Garnacho in that area. So there's a lot of sort of scope to change things around, isn't there? Everybody was saying Hato. Calafiori injury prone. I loved Calafiori at Bologna. So last season I wanted him badly, but Hato just offers even more just athletic traits that just makes him so desirable. Playback it's a bit, I don't know how to describe it. Anybody that uses playback, how do you describe it? Because it's a little bit like just streaming on here, but you can bring people up to stage, like sort of one by one, or bring a few up. And it's just like a bit of a live podcasty type thing. And yeah, you can share your screen. You can go on a few things. It's quite a cool little app. I listen to playbacks from a few different people when I'm sort of just doing work. So that's definitely something that I use time to time. So yeah, I want to sort of use that and do that with our community here, and then give you guys the chance to sort of come up and have a chat. Reece James, thank you so much. That's my first ever power chat. That's actually really, really kind of you, Reece. Big up to Reece. Everybody show Reece some love. That's the first ever power chat that I've got. That feels like a big moment. Thank you very much, Reece James. Up the Chelsea. You're always in the chat, so big up to you. Big up to you, Reece. Let's keep going. I'd love a deep cut run for sure. I really want one. That's made my day, actually, Reece, by the way. That seems like what's it called? It's like I'm trying to think of the word. A milestone, like a big milestone moment. Feels like that. I feel like a proper streamer. Yeah, it's a streaming platform. Yeah, JP for me. Although I think Delap will shock a few people. Oh, here you go. Who do you think will score more goals, Delap or Pedro? I would say it depends who starts. I'm going to say Pedro because I think he starts more, and I think Samuel said it here as well. So I do think it will be Pedro. But I actually think they'll be quite close, even if Pedro starts and Delap, because I think Pedro has a little bit more facilitator about him. I think it'll be close, but I will go João Pedro. Yeah, you said Pedro, but close as well. Why is no one talking about a keeper? Heard will take it from City is in the market. Getting him will be an upgrade to our goalkeeping department. Nobody talking about keeper until tonight, because tonight we have got my first ever properly edited, I say properly edited, a little bit edited, video, and it is about a goalkeeper. So do not miss that. Show all of the support on that video tonight and let me know what you think of the editing and if you want better edits, because if that's something you guys want, I'm trying to work on it. I'm not very good when it comes to editing. Like I say, my background is purely in football analysis. So when it comes to streaming, editing, making videos, that's all very secondary to me, and I'm learning on the go. But yeah, I wanted to try and have a little play around with some editing. So new goalkeeper video out tonight where we'll touch on all of those things. Don't see anyone on the market who's that good with the ball at their feet. Again, we're going to touch on that tonight as well. It was towards Kenya and Pires. Again, big up to Reece. Jorgensen. Oh, so you guys were putting together. Yeah, so you say Asugo and Andre in midfield, but what about Lavia? You think KDH? I think he might leave. Fofana, I think if he's fit, I think he starts with Colwill. You think our backline here would be Hato, Badishio, Tosin, Gusto, Josh? Yeah, I think that's fair. It also depends on the opponents. Very true. Might be one of the toughest Premier League seasons in a long while. Yeah, the top four is very, very strong. Very, very strong. Look at the love Reece was getting here. Lots of W's to Reece. Legend. We are growing. It's crazy, man. It's so good. I'm really, really happy with the way the channel and the way everything's growing really nicely. So yeah, big up to you guys. Because it's all down to you. It's all down to the support you guys give on the streams and on the videos. Every little comment that helps the algorithm, every little like that helps the algorithm, and even just showing up every single time. Yeah, big up to you lot. Big up to you lot. Where are we? I agree we're better suited to knockout competitions because of our high ceiling, but our issue is the low level performances. Yeah, consistency for sure. Is it excessive having 3 strikers this season? If it's Jackson or Guiu staying, I don't think it's as excessive because I think there's like you're not bringing in a third. That's the reason why a lot of people sort of say, "Oh, should we bring in another striker?" I don't think. I don't want to bring in another one. I don't want to bring in another striker because then we'll have 3 new strikers all in a new, like their first season at the club. I don't want that. I know João Pedro can be a bit more flexible. But yeah, it seems that he's going to be used more as a striker. So that's sort of my thing with that. Where were we? We were here. Do we have a sell-on clause on Gurhey? Yeah, I think we have like 10% or something like that. So yeah, there's definitely something in that. I remember it being said. I think the lap is amazing, but Pedro had those big moments in the Club World Cup, so he'll get the preference. I think he definitely starts as the preference, yeah. Which of our wingers could be the first since Hazard to hit 10 non-penalty goals in the PL? Gittins. Not sure if it's this season because of, or Esteval as well, maybe. Like I say, I think it's purely based on minutes. I don't know which wingers are going to be more favoured this season. So I'm going to say Gittins, but it might not even be this season, it might be the year after. Not sure about non-pen goals, but just goals in general. Yeah, I'll go Gittins. People are going to be surprised how well our strikers perform. We've got a very good group. Don't care about who starts for real, even though I would Pedro start. Just think we are spoiled for choices, which is a great thing to have, isn't it, Joaxi? It's a great thing to have now, according to Nicolio. Where have you seen that, Julius? Have I missed something on Twitter? I'll have a quick look. I expect goals galore. It's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it? Platform the strikers better than ever, sharing their minutes. Both have better ball striking, 1v1 threat than Jackson. Very, very fun. The goalkeeper situation is awkward because the club are trying to plan around Penders long term. Yes, massively. Like I said, I'm really excited to upload this video now tonight because a lot of people actually seem to be interested in the goalkeeper position. And sometimes it's not one that people are as interested in. So I can't see anything on Twitter, by the way, Julius. Has anybody else seen this? Javi will bolster out. Oh, well, booster. What do you mean, Jerry? 10k soon. Honestly, I've just realised that says person turquoise. Yeah. 10k soon. That's the aim. We want 20. Like the aim at the start of this year, when I always do like sort of New Year's goals because I think it just sort of gives me the motivation to keep pushing through and like really sort of making the most of everything. Like all the momentum that we get on the channel and on the Twitter and on all my other platforms. So yeah, 10k is the aim on YouTube, 20k is the aim on Twitter, 5k is the aim on TikTok. TikTok for me is a nightmare of an app. I can't conquer it. So many other people, I think it is just consistency. If any of you guys like watch a lot of TikTok or do a lot of TikTok or whatever, what is it that you find is like the best way to sort of use that the app? Because I struggle big time on TikTok. Like it's the one where I keep stunting. I can't really find that level of growth. I've had like 1 or 2 videos bang, but it's very random. Like they're never the ones that I expect to bang. So yeah, TikTok's a nightmare, but we're trying to get to 5k on TikTok eventually. Been trying to ask this for a while, but what's the best approach to beat a mid-block? Very interesting you ask that because next week we have a video about Chelsea against mid and low blocks coming out on the channel. And on my other channel, we have a specific video about the tactical trends next year that we're going to see against mid blocks and low blocks and different tactical trends in the Premier League. So keep an eye out for those, George, because they as well will have extra editing involved. And yeah, I'm going to quickly just mute and remove my webcam to blow my nose because I've got a bit of a cold. So I'll be 2 seconds. Okay. Somebody's just asked where we can find the other channel. Let me link it. The other channel is going to be all tactics based. So it's going to be, well, all tactics and all other club based. So we're going to be touching on so much on that other channel. Got big plans for it, but it is purely more of a passion project. This will remain the main channel. But yeah, all the support you guys can give me on this other channel in terms of commenting and liking the videos and all that good stuff means the world to me as well. Because again, usually like in comparison to my Chelsea content, my other content never does as well. So that's something I'm trying to learn as we go. So yeah, that's that. Let me see if this works as well. If I link the playback, if you guys join the room on playback, if you have playback or if you don't have playback, you can. Very easy to make an account. You can have it as an app on your phone. Like I say, that's something I'm going to start using a bit more as well, and that gives you the chance to sort of come up and have a chat with me and have a chat with each other, because we can bring 4 or 5 people up at once. Everybody can have a little chat about Chelsea. We can ask each other questions, and we can really go into the tactics side of things. So yeah, that's where the other channel is, David. Linked in the chat there. So yeah, TikTok and X handles. Brian, let me link you my link tree, because I made one of those yesterday because I'm getting all professional now. So made a link tree so you can find everything in one area. So yeah, we're looking forward to your video as a ball-playing goalkeeper. Get the best out of Maresca's tactics. Yeah, 100%. I think Penders is class. I really hope we didn't block his pathway. Yeah, well, don't block his pathway. I agree. Yeah, you like the playback idea and better than the Discord idea. That's cool. Do you use playback as? Scalvini I like a lot. I think he's more of a central centre-back mould. So like that would sort of clash a little bit with Colwill and where I prefer him. But that's not to say they couldn't play together. It could even lead to some really nice sort of 2-man build-up. So like where we play more of a 2-3 against aggressive teams. Against passive teams, sorry. Right. Let me get my professional LinkedIn link tree. Does this work? On here, you can find. Should I pin it? Is there a way of pinning it? How does that work? Yeah, so that has my YouTube, my TikTok, my Twitter. But yeah, everything involved there. So very professional now, you see. Yeah, the main thing with Scalvini is the injury history, isn't it? Never heard of it until now. Downloading it as we speak. I like the idea though. Yeah, it's very fun, Kaz. It's very fun. Like I say, it's a bit more of a chill one, and what I'm going to use it for is a bit more like sort of, I want to grow the community on there as well, but have the same people from this community on the playback community and have it all sort of intertwine as one. So then, yeah, the YouTube streams will always be a thing, and then on playback, maybe we do 1 or 2 a week where we sort of get to, yeah, it's one of those things. I'm just experimenting with a lot of different things at the minute. For everybody, just join your playback. Let's go, Lorenzo. Big up. What number do you think Hato will get? I don't actually know. What numbers are available right now that he can actually take? I'm really not sure. Depends who leaves as well, doesn't it? Because like if Zassi leaves, I mean his number got pinched anyway. Have you not used playback, Daniel? Like I say, it's sort of like it's an app. He wears 4, yeah, but Thingy's 4, isn't he? Toss him. Yeah, playback. It's a bit like a live podcasty type of app, like sort of you do like a live streaming app where you sit in the live, and again we can do like we do here, where we get the tactics board up. I can invite you guys to stage. It's called, if you're a member of my playback, which is free to do. And yeah, it's quite a cool little app, really. Like I use it a lot just to listen to other people. I know quite a few people in this community that do use it. Zach Vargas, who's always here, if you recognise him whenever he's in the chat, he's on playback quite a lot, I know for a fact. So yeah, it's definitely something people use. If Xavi comes in, will Enzo play as a more deep line playmaker? I think so. I do think so. And again, one of the videos that we're making next week is going to be about the evolution of Enzo Fernandez next season. So, and yes, he can play as that left-sided number 8 and a 3 for sure. When will we get streams on playback? Honestly, I'm probably gonna do one again tonight. Like, well, not even tonight, probably just this afternoon. The thing is with the playback streams is they can be a bit more chill, because I can just sort of start the stream up and have a lot of other people bring them up to stage, having people talk and stuff. So yeah. Sorry, I just had a message. So yeah, we can sort of just go through that, and we can do it every now and again. So it won't be sort of fixed, but the more people enjoy them, and the more people that we have come and support them, and yeah, we'll do it more often. Eamon asks, Connor, do you think Xavi's dribbling style looks like Hazard? I can see what you mean, especially in terms of how he uses sort of his back to ride contact and his hips. So yeah, he's definitely shifty in the same way that Hazard was inside. I don't think he's got the same sort of level of strength on the outside as Hazard, of course, but I definitely get what you mean. Expect Endo to play there, but I think Maresca can also use the relative width thing. Do you mean minimum width? Do you mean minimum width, Samuel? But yeah, it's a little difficult for me to think Maresca would put him as deep playmaker when he hasn't tried that much so far. We've seen it a little bit with rotations, but we've not really seen him starting there. So I do think, what was I going to say? Sorry, I saw Warriors message and it just sent me. I do think we'll see it a little bit more this season with rotations. Yeah, you meant minimum width. Can't wait to see Esteban Palmer link up. You and me both. Pies did. He's done it quite a few times where he brings Ben Jacobs on. Apparently, Ben Jacobs, top guy. Seems to be a really top guy from what I've seen of him. Let's go, Kaz. Good to have you on there. And yeah, I'm sure when we do some streams, I'm sure you'll be there for those. What do you think, Palmer? What? Why do you think Palmer dropped in the second half of the season? I'm assuming you mean his form, why it dropped off. Honestly, I just thought it was confidence-based, a lot of it, because he was still getting into really, really good areas. I think Gurhey makes sense for certain reasons in terms of giving... Thank you very much, Daniel. I think it makes sense in terms of adding experience and leadership and that sort of mentality. However, it depends. Maybe if you had, it's very small, but if you had Hato starting at left back, then you have at least that sort of aggression, and that you have the aggressor in Hato, and then you have Cole and Gurhey are a little bit less aggressive. Again, if you started, let's say, Achempong at right back, and you had Achempong right back, Gurhey middle centre back, Cole left centre back, or you switch those two round, you still have an aggressor in the backline. So that's my biggest thing with having Gurhey and Colwill. I think they're quite similar in style. So I do think that if you're going to do that, I think it's definitely... Let's go, Brian. He was following up every single one. Let's go. Links download playback, guys. I find too many app. You find too many app. What, you can't find it? Amen. But yeah, my right centre back, I'm doing a video on finding it with data. So I'm going to find the perfect right centre back using data for Chelsea. So we're doing that video as well. You can probably tell from in this stream, I've been saying a lot. I've got a lot of main channel ideas. I've got a list here of about 10 ideas. Like I said, the goalkeeper one is out tonight. We've got reacting to your Chelsea lineups. That'll be out tomorrow. And then next week, we've got quite a few of these videos sort of in the works to happen next week. So the content is not slowing down. And of course, with the pre-seasons, sort of picking up again next week, we'll also have videos on all of those games and streams on those games. The content is not going to stop. It's going to continue to massively grow. So as I will say and continue to say, please like the stream. Please, everything. Subscribe, like, comment on videos, absolutely everything. It means the world to me. 2 seconds. I'm just getting a call. I'm really quickly going to just pop off stream for 2 seconds, and then I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to quickly run and get the door as well. Thank you very much, Brian. Yeah, Jacob, we've got some really cool ideas in the works. Not even for just this channel, for the other channel as well. So, yeah, everything is looking very much on the up. Welcome back. Went for about a minute. Probably only going to go for another 5 minutes on stream, though, guys, because I do have to get this video edited to come out tonight. If you haven't liked the stream already, please do. We're at about 60, I think. 60 on the dot. Perfect. Can we get that up any further? What are we looking at? Hey, mate, just wondering how good is Penders? Seeing people say he's a combo of Courtois and Edison, but that seems excessive. It's early days, so yes, it's excessive, of course, to compare him to those two. But I can see why he's got, especially the Courtois in terms of his build, very much makes sense. And yeah, he's top. And again, he's another exciting one for Strasbourg this year. So Strasbourg is going to be very exciting to watch with him, Paez, Ishe Samuel-Smith's now joined there on a permanent, pardon me. Already got some really exciting players as well. So they're going to be a lot of fun. Amugu, if you're interested in Amugu as well. Favourites for the title. It has to be Liverpool, really, doesn't it? I mean, the money they've spent, the fact that they've brought in, like, Wirtz on his own, crazy. Kirkes, top. Frimpong, I'm still a little bit, I need to be sold a little bit more on, but still a decent-ish signing. And then, of course, Ekitike, I'm a big fan of, and Isaac would just be nuts. So it has to be, the favourites have to be Liverpool. But Brian thinks Chelsea or Arsenal is interesting. I do think we're coming 1 year too early for a title challenge, but never say never, because the squad quality is so, like, it's so high that it is one of those, like, never say never. But I do think it maybe comes 1 year too early, but we will see. I think we're going to end it there because we're holding a steady 50, and we're nearly at the hour mark. We've got 61 likes. If you are on your way out, please do drop a like if you haven't already. Again, keep your eye out for a playback stream this afternoon and a goalkeeper video on the YouTube channel. Again, if you don't follow me on TikTok, go follow Connor Holden, because I'm about to go and record some shorts as well for TikTok, because, again, I'm just trying to be consistent. They don't seem to do very well. Kaz with is that a $1? I'm not sure, but Kaz with the power chat as well. Thank you very much, Kaz. Like I say, my first 2 power chats today from Reece James and Kaz feels like a real milestone for me being a streamer. So yeah, gonna go record some TikToks, then I'm gonna have a YouTube video out later today, and then we're gonna do a playback. So very, very busy for the rest of the day. This is not the last you'll see of me today, but thank you for the support in this stream. Kaz is another legend. Kaz is always a legend. He's always here. He's always asking questions. Never boring to have Kaz around, for sure. So thank you all very much for the support. And the community is growing, and we're all going to grow together, and it's hopefully going to be a very, very fun time. Everybody's saying WCAS, for sure, WCAS. So yeah, let's see where we go. We'll see you all later today, hopefully in the playback. And yeah, thanks guys. Thank you, Kaz. So yeah, big up. Goalkeeper video tonight, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.